Leave the World Alone, written by Saulius Urbonas, narrated by Dalan. A little bit about myself. I am a Lithuanian man, born and raised in Kaunas. As a child, I was hoping to become a clown, but obviously I did not succeed. Well, at least in the literal sense. My intellectual parents directed me in the path of an intellectual, and I feel very grateful to them, since I now realize that such practices as self-analysis are very hard to do without a high level of intelligence. I attended Myronis Gymnasium in Kaunas till the 6th grade, then moved to Vietnam with my parents. There we lived for 4 years. When we returned, I graduated from the School of Applied Arts, learned the jeweler's trade. At the time, I was intently studying how to paint under a famous painter called Alfredus Satas. Those were amazing times. Later, I was painting and selling my artwork in art galleries. That was when I was suddenly caught up in the biggest love story of my life with my dearest Loretta. It was as if I was caught up in a hurricane which swept me far away. I matured, family, kids, jobs, businesses. And when I was about 26 years old, I started thinking that something was not entirely right. Something was missing in my chest. There was no sense of fulfillment, of inspiration. There was only the mind, fortified with all the world's temptations. Business was not going well at the time. Little children in my arms, shortage of money, meaningless parties. The unluckier I got, the more there were lame parties and pointless weekends. That was when my first spiritual teacher, Gintas, came into my life. The way I met him was quite interesting. There is this story about a priest saying a sermon to a church full of parishioners, but only a homeless man hearing the speech from the outside entrance. That was how it happened to me. My mom invited my brother to a Reiki seminar held by Gintas while I was merely sitting at the bar in the kitchen. My mom was trying with such passion to convince him, but my brother just did not care. To me, however, this sounded like an interesting idea, so I asked, "Mom, can I go to see Gintas?" I met Gintas a few weeks later on a Saturday. It was a wonderful day, and after a couple of years I would realize that exactly this day had changed my life. As I would say today, mercy paid me a visit. There are 8 billion people in the world, but only a minority are interested in their spirituality. Why? I found the answer to this question in India, Rishikesh. It is mercy who invites us to the spiritual journey back home. It is mercy who touches and invites us. A huge thank you to mercy for the invitation, both then and now. And if you are reading these words, then it is also happening for a reason. Mercy has touched you as well, or is doing so right now. I am very glad. Anyhow, on that Saturday, I was born for the second time. Gintas taught me about the history of Reiki, about its traditions, about its founder, Mikao Usui. He talked about spirituality, how to aim for it, how to walk that road. However, it felt as if he were talking about me. He truly talked about me. I knew that I had to be there. Therefore, I spent about 10 years with Gintas. Thank you, Gintas. Then I wrote my first book, which also came unexpectedly, as if from nowhere. I just sat down to my computer and it was born. When the book was finished, I had a meeting with Vilba Ernavinci, the owner of Mijarba Publishing House. She agreed to publish it. It was fun and interesting. Then she invited me to a seminar where Susan Gregg, Toltec female shaman, writer, best-selling author, and healer from Hawaii, was supposed to speak. And what do you think? I stayed with her for a decade to learn the wisdom of the Toltecs, the traditions of Native American shamans. This was a very powerful experience that opened up something new and unseen inside of me. After some time, I became interested in Siberian shamanism and shamanism overall. Why? Was one practice not enough? I realized the reason later, when I find out who had studied these practices, but about that later.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?